came from. Now, it could be that in your Bible it may say Hittites, but what I'm going to tell you to count, in Hebrew it says B'nai Chet, the children of Chet. Chet is not only the name of the Hittites, but Chet is also a number. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet. It's the 8th number. 7 is 7 days in the week. 8, something supernatural, something transcendental, something that goes beyond the regular order of events, a 7-day week. Okay, who's reading to me? Chapter 23. Let's go to sentence 3 and start from there. Yeah.
And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying...
Okay, sons of Chet or children of Chet, that's 1. Who's count? I need a good count here. 1. Moving along.
I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I might bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham,
2.
saying unto him, Hear us, my lord, thou art a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres, bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulchre, and that thou mayest bury thy dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth.
3.
And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, entreat for me to Ephron, the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath, which is at the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it to me for the possession of a burying place among you.
Hang out for a second. Hold your finger on the place. One of the things that we get accused of is either we're wealthy, or we're cheap, or I don't know what. But here, guy's cheap guy, he's offered the area for nothing. And what does he say? I don't want it for nothing. Who doesn't want it for nothing when you get it for nothing? No, I want to pay for it. Why do you want to pay for something when you can get it for nothing? First of all, if we pay for something, it has more value for us. But second of all, I give it to you for nothing, I can take it back to you for nothing. If I'm going to pay for it, and the deed is going to be recorded here for posterity, so it becomes a permanent acquisition that should theoretically not be questioned. Okay, moving along, continue with your thought.
And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth.
Okay, what number is that?
4.
4, okay.
And Ephron of the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth,
Number 5.
even of all that went in at the gate of the city,
The
saying,
gate of the city. Hold your finger on the place. So what we're looking at in front of us, about 20 feet away, is the gate of the city. So we go back 4,000 years ago. We're looking at Abraham negotiating with Ephron to make the purchase here. There's the Midrash writing from the rabbinical period, where it says that there are 3 real estate transactions that are mentioned specifically in the Bible. Not that the Bible is a book of real estate transactions. However, there must be some kind of meaning. What 3 real estate transactions are mentioned? This is one, Hebron. What else?
David buying the threshing floor.
David buying the threshing floor from Aravna or Arvona in Jerusalem. And the third, Jacob buying Shem for 50 casitas of silver. So what does the Midrash tell us? The Midrash says, why are we reading about real estate in the Bible? It says, because we're going to have times that there'll be people who will come and accuse us, you're stealing the land. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to somebody else. So this, which is the basis, it's in every first half of a Christian Bible. It's found in biblical stories in the Arab Quran. These stories, and where do they get these stories from? They get it from the Jewish Bible. Purchases is specifically. So even if a person has no faith in God, I don't believe in God, but he believes in money. He believes in working, earning a salary, and going to purchase things for his benefit. So you believe in the real estate purchase. So the real estate, the purchase is specifically mentioned over here, that which is acceptable by the majority of people in the world, except that it's acceptable. I know it in theory, but when it comes to actual practice, our ownership rights are constantly being challenged. So what good is the Midrash that tells us that they're mentioning these purchases that people shouldn't say that we're stealing? It's not helping. Even though it's mentioned, they're still saying they're stealing. Probably it's more introspection. The fact that the real estate purchases are mentioned here, unfortunately 70% of the Jewish people, maybe plus minus, are not observant. And they may not believe in these things. But those 70% of the people may be doctors, lawyers, attorneys, teachers, engineers, architects, I don't know what. And certainly they believe in the real estate transaction. So on its most basic level, if you're not going to take it from the religious point of view, from the God point of view, take it from here, there was a transaction that was significant enough that's mentioned in the Bible at great lengths. So, okay, let's continue with the reading. We're not finished yet.
Nay, my Lord, hear me. The field give I thee, and the cave that is therein. I give it to thee. In the presence of the sons of my people give I it to thee. Bury thy dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it to me, I pray thee hear me. I will give thee money for the field, take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My Lord, hearken unto me, the land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant.
Okay, so now we have already number 6, because in the hearing of the children of Heth is 6. Go ahead, continue.
And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave that was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth.
8. So in this particular transaction, we find the children of Heth are mentioned 8 times, and then Heth means the 8th letter, the number 8, which we're saying is transcendental, supernatural, something above the regular, normal course of events that's occurring here. But let's make it even a little bit stronger, and let's turn to chapter 25 of Genesis, and let's go to sentence number 8.
You're just like miscount there, Abby.
Oh, I'm sorry?
You jumped from 6 to 8, but there is another one that that's yet to come in verse 20.
I shouldn't have jumped. It should be that 6 was in the hearing of the children of Heth, and then later on the surrounding boundaries Abraham purchased in the view of the children of Heth was 7, and then afterwards Abraham bade Sarah his wife in the cave of Machpelah facing Mamre, which is Hebron, and the field and the cave was confirmed as Abraham's estate for burial. From the children of Heth, that winds up being 8.
Yeah, because I'm not saying there's not 8 there, but you went 6 to 8.
So
you didn't count the last
if I didn't do that, I mean that I should have an accountant who's helping me every time you hear the children of Heth shout out 7, 8. So we have 8 up to now. Let's go now to chapter 25, to sentence number 8. And who's reading for me?
Tim, that's right, mate.
Then Abraham gave up the spirit and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron the son of Zohar the Hittite, which is before Mamre. The field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth, there was
9.
Abraham buried.
The transaction is over, but the name still continues. And let's so that we just counted number 9. Let's go from here and turn to Genesis 49, chapter 49, sentence 29. Jacob is now instructing his children. What does he tell them? Help me out.
And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth.
Okay, 10 times. We jump from 8 children of Chet during the course of the transaction. The entire book of Genesis will have the children of Chet mentioned an additional 2 times till we get to number 10. What does the number 10 remind us of? What else had 10? 10 what? Charlton Heston, Mount Sinai, Cecil B. DeMille,
10 Commandments.
10 Commandments. And the implication becomes, and the Midrash talks out, that this transaction is so important. It's the first real estate transaction that's mentioned. Even though it appears on the face of it it's only a business real estate transaction, is so important that it's the equivalent of the entire 10 Commandments. How can it possibly be that thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not kill, I am the Lord your God? How could it possibly be that this purchase is the equivalent of the 10 Commandments? How can we possibly understand that? You can't go to a movie that has a story and the story doesn't have a setting. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and it was null and void. Null and void is only the first couple of sentences in Genesis. Once you leave null and void and there's nothing, when God starts to create mouse, cat, dog, cattle, people, they have a setting. You need a setting, a place to have a house to live. You need a field to be able to grow. Otherwise there's no life. And so the sustenance of life is beginning with this, but it's not enough. It should be enough that God says, I'm promising this land to your seed. What else do you need? God says, I'm giving it to you. It's for your children. Not enough. There's got to be an investment. And the investment, how much did they pay for it? I don't remember. What was it? 400. We said that not only the words have meaning, but every letter has a meaning. Ephron is made up of Ayin, Fei, Resh, Nun. Ayin is 70. Who's a mathematician? Pei is 80. Resh is 200. Nun is 50. 70 and 80 is 150. And 200 is 350. And another 50 is 4. When Abraham purchases 400 pieces of silver, he's purchasing out, he's coming in instead of Ephron. No one today says, oh, you're taking Ephron's land. Ephron and the Hittites are gone, out. They've been purchased out of history. If we take a look, those people who are a little bit sensitive to mathematics, just a couple of 100 years ago, the Dutch buy the entire island of Manhattan from the Indians for, I know you guys are from England, so you probably don't know this part of history because it's American history, and who the heck are the Americans? Those rebels from the mother country. For $24 in trinkets, we get the entire island of Manhattan, which includes Broadway, Wall Street, big place. For 400 pieces of silver, 4,000 years ago, a substantially larger amount than the Dutch bought the entire island of Manhattan, Abraham appears to have overpaid for the cave and the fields around it. But evidently there's a meaning that we have to explore further as we continue to move around. There's a connection of something. It says, Amar Rab Chisda says that the cave of Machpelah is the gate to the Garden of Eden. Judaism, we believe that God breathed into us a divine soul. That soul is in every man, Jewish or not Jewish. When a person dies, he can die in Wales, or in Coventry, or in Los Angeles, or in Florida. The soul doesn't go up to heaven until it goes through the gate of Hebron, the cave of Machpelah. You guys that play, I don't know, cricket or something, but in America they play baseball. When a person is on base and he's waiting for someone to hit a ball so he can progress to another base and to have a home run, he can't progress until he touches base from where he's coming from. He's taking a little bit of a lead, he's ready to run, but before he continues to run forward, he's got to run backwards, touch the base, and then continue to run. And here, before we can go anywhere, Caleb ben Yefuneh, the spy, he comes to Hebron to touch base with the forefathers before he goes to spy out the rest of the land to give him moral fortitude. So we see in front of us, which is remarkable, is the transaction for this first purchase happening 4,000 years ago, 20 feet away. Let's go and see some of the other archaeology and see what other periods it relates to.